Football here at Croke Park this weekend. Yesterday we saw Laois and Tyrone triumph in the qualifiers. Well, here today it's the first two quarter-finals. The opening match sees Connacht champions Galway take on Cork, and the throw-in for that game is coming up shortly. And then our second game of the day that sees the All-Ireland champions Kerry in action, and they face Mayo. That game starts at 3:30. Well, yes, another busy day here at headquarters today. This afternoon's matches with an earlier than usual start. Now, by the way, emails and texts are always welcome here on the Sunday Game. To send us your comments, send game to 53555, while that email address is thesundaygame@rte.ie. And here in studio, earlier than usual as well, we have Joe Brolly and Colin Moore. Gentlemen, you're very welcome indeed. Colin, changes in the Galway team already before the start of this match. Derek Savage is out, Sean Armstrong comes in. That'll be a bit of an upset for Galway. Joe Berg and Michael Donlan have been carrying injuries. Not the best preparation, I suppose, for a big game.
No, and I suppose Sean Armstrong is going to come in and play a corner forward. He's not going to surely go out to... So presumably Michael Donlan will go out there. I spoke to Michael Donlan. He's having a problem with his groins and he's getting injections. So, you know, there is a bit of a problem with fitness there. And I suppose yesterday when you saw the games, I think the fittest teams won. Laois have sort of a huge level of fitness, and Tyrone have built up this reservoir over the years as well. So fitness is becoming a key factor here in Croke Park, along with good subs. And I think the teams with the big panels are beginning now to grind the others down. So there's no upsets. All the good teams, as we would say, are getting through, mainly as a result, I think, of fitness on the one hand and the strength of panel on the other.
And the interesting thing also about today, Joe, is the fact that you have two rivals in Connacht playing against two rivals from Munster. Kerry obviously against Mayo in that second match.
Yeah, well, I think the first match is going to be the closest game. I mean, we said it last year whenever Armagh played for Manning, but I think it will be really impossible for Mayo to beat Kerry unless, you know, something cataclysmic happens in the Kerry ranks. This is a real good match, and you know, both teams are in a learning phase and they're both a bit uncertain of themselves, so we get a good idea today of just where they stand. I mean, Cork, I thought, were very good against Kerry. We were deprived of a terrific finale whenever Anthony Lynch slipped and Kerry got the goal, because at that stage it was hard to see where Kerry were going to get the scores from. And I mean, Galway, they're young but they're bolstered by old heads, and I mean, they've had an unconvincing enough Connacht run, but look what they did in '98. They came out of Connacht and all of a sudden they exploded onto Croke Park.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for the moment. Now, there are prizes on offer here on the programme right now, and here's what you can win. RTE and the Bank of Ireland want to give you 2 tickets to the All-Ireland football semi-finals on August the 28th, plus overnight accommodation in Dublin. The winner will be entered into a draw to win 2 tickets for the All-Ireland football final. Now, to enter, what you do is you select your man of the match from the first game and you phone the numbers that you can see on the screen there. Also, you can text your choice to match at 57111. If your selection agrees with our panel, then you're in with a chance of that super prize. Details, by the way, also on Airtel page 193. Now, RTE and the Bank of Ireland are offering a similar prize for the second match, 2 more All-Ireland semi-final tickets and overnight stay, and you will also be entered into that competition for the All-Ireland final football tickets. Once again, nominate your man of the match. On screen now are the numbers to ring for that second match, or again, you can text match to 57111. And the winners will be announced on tonight's Sunday Game programme. Again, all of the details are on Airtel page 193. Okay, the commentators then for this first game of the day here at Croke Park are Darragh Maloney with Martin Carney.
Michael, thank you. I'd imagine a few sleepy heads around Croke Park today with the half-one throw-in. Some people from Cork would have had to start out from West Cork, particularly probably around 6 o'clock this morning, and indeed early starts for Galway and for Kerry and Mayo, but a little bit later. Let's check on the 2 teams for you. We'll start with Galway, and of course you know that Joe Bergen is back in their lineup after missing much of the Connacht campaign with a knee complaint. His return a major boost. The player to lose out, Kieran Comer, but the big news concerns Derek Savage. He was ruled out just a short time ago with a hamstring injury. Sean Armstrong fills in at left half forward, but he'll probably play in the corner. Paul Clancy's move to centre-back against Mayo was an absolute revelation as he marked Kieran MacDonald out of the match. Galway will expect another big game from him today as they bid for a place in the All-Ireland semi-final. Billy Morgan welcomes Philip Clifford back after a fine performance as a substitute against Sligo last weekend. Clifford replaces Fintan Gould, who is bound to feature at some stage this afternoon. That's the only change to the side, with captain Owen Sexton, John Hayes and Nicholas Murphy all included, despite picking up injuries 8 days ago. Noel O'Leary also suffered a knock last weekend, but he is fit. He put in an excellent display, kicking 3 great points, and is one of the stars of Cork 05 under Billy Morgan. They're the teams. We'll be back shortly.
Funny how we wait all year for it to get hot, just so as we can cool down again. Bowman's original cider.
Football crowned in the back pocket, along with that Connacht title as well. But can he bring this young Galway side with that experienced spine through to the next level? Billy Morgan, 42 years involved with Cork football, those All-Ireland titles of course, and you think even as well of the record 7 club titles with Nemo Rangers. Seen it all before, and well, this a very exciting Cork team in action today. Martin Carney with me. Martin, your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm expecting a great contest, Dara. Like what you have here today in this first game is 2 great footballing teams. They'll play football from beginning to end. Now, on the one hand, Cork have promised much. I thought they were outstanding in the Munster final against Kerry, played good football. And I think it's fair to say that Galway have not reached their full potential yet this year. They stuttered against Leitrim, and they didn't play particularly well against Mayo when beating Mayo. But I think when they get into Croke Park, they always improve. Like, one of the things about Connacht teams, one of the truisms about Connacht teams, is that Galway are the one team that step up a gear when they come up here. And I would expect Galway to play with a flourish today and to come close to, again, what is their best performance. And again, it's a venue that both Pádraig Joyce and Michael Donnellan seem to thrive in.
What about the loss of Derek Savage, this hamstring injury? Sean Armstrong has done very well for Galway this year. One of the stars, of course, with me and of the under-21 side. Yeah,
Derek Savage, actually, of all the forwards, he might be number 3 in the pecking order after both Joyce and Donnellan, but he has been outstanding, to be honest with you, this year. I thought he had a welcome return to form, but his loss will be significant, with that hamstring strain. But Armstrong has cut his teeth in the under-21 All-Ireland Championship this year. Again, had a fabulous All-Ireland final. I think he scored a hat-trick in that, Dara. But he's a very, very economical footballer. Does the simple things well, times things very well. It doesn't do things, he's not too extravagant a player, but he's beautiful off either foot. And if anybody is seeing him for the first time, just watch how naturally he kicks off either foot. It's a lovely skill to see being executed, and he's a player with great promise.
Also, we saw it in the Connacht final with the likes of Donnellan and Pádraig Joyce being able to steer the younger guys home. They've a very important role to play today with all those young lads on that team.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Pádraig Joyce, to my mind, on his day, is the best player in the country. Now, Michael Donnellan's position today, as Colin has alluded to, is quite interesting. He hasn't been training at full capacity since the beginning of the summer due to a tummy problem. I think he's having injections. It's one of these pelvic injuries he has. Now, to my mind, he'll probably be playing a little bit further out. There are 5 under-21s. The 2 guys around middle of the field, Barry Cullinan and Niall Coleman, are relatively inexperienced at this level, and they're playing against 2 guys, Derek Kavanagh and Nicholas Murphy, who have been outstanding so far, both in the Munster Championship and in the qualifiers. So I presume that Michael Donnellan will play out around that area to actually bolster and to complement the inexperience of those 2 guys there.
Well, Galway have had their huddle, Cork having theirs at the moment, with the captain Owen Sexton right in the middle of it. As you can see, a beautiful day here in Croke Park. There's very little wind to speak of. It certainly won't really be a factor. Galway won the toss. They've elected to play from left to right, attacking into the canal end in this first half of this first All-Ireland quarter-final. The referee, Maurice Deegan from County Laois, he was actually the linesman for the Cork-Sligo qualifier in Portlaoise yesterday week. Now, Alan Burke and Kieran Fitzgerald have swapped positions. Declan Meehan and Damien Burke, the 2 wing-backs, have swapped wings as well. So we'll see how things develop. We're just about ready to go. Armstrong and Clancy now have switched as well. We expected Armstrong to go into the corner. Michael Donnellan certainly won't start at corner forward. He'll drift out. Clancy will drift back as well. There's so many questions to be answered.
Yeah, and looking at it, actually, I would expect Sean Armstrong to drift into left corner forward and Michael Donlan to come to centre forward very quickly. But it's notable there that Kieran Fitzgerald is picking up the least inexperienced on the full forward line in John Hayes, and the two younger lads are picking up both Clifford and Brendan Gerald Sullivan.
Brendan Gerald Sullivan in that very deep position. This is Owen Sexton drilling it forward. Derek Kavanagh making a move after that. He was full back last year, but a very formidable partnership in midfield with Murphy. Good solid start for Finian Hanley, another one of those under 21 stars, only brought in to the panel before the Connacht final, and he did extremely well, remember. Armstrong going after that, Anthony Lynch reading the break there for it. Here's Owen Sexton all the way across to Philip Clifford. First time in years I can remember him without a bandage on his left knee, but he's injury free. He'll hope to stay that way. Noel O'Leary direct in towards John Hayes, the 19-year-old, falls nicely for Paul Clancy. Read the danger, got the ball. Here's Joe Bergen. How will that knee hold up? Tory Joyce, the Galway skipper. Just 3 Galway players inside the Cork 45-metre line. More now. Joyce goes. That's a very high challenge. Nicholas Murphy.
Yeah, that's a bad challenge, all right, Darren. Joyce that time teased and tormented him, and again drew the foul that time. Again, very, very high on Joyce, and again gives Joyce the opportunity, or Michael Meehan the opportunity, of opening their scoring.
So a ticking or a black card against Nicholas Murphy.
Yes, and even though he's lining out a full forward, Corey Joyce is playing a very, very deep role already, but just Donlan and I think Michael Meehan in the full forward line.
Meehan still not 21 until December. Needs a good start from the frees. Hasn't got it though. First wide of the game. Well, the combination with Sean Armstrong was incredible in the under-21 championship. Something like 9:35 they scored between them. Joe Bergen has a big part to play today. That's a tempting ball in. Meehan goes after it. Forced a little bit wide, Meehan. Matthew Clancy looking for the first point of this quarter-final. Off the upright again. That's happened a fair few times this weekend. Really will have wanted that score and felt he should have got it. Niall Geary sets Cork going forward. Graham Canty, the attacking instincts are still there. He's full back, but look at him now. Over the Galway 65-metre line, approaching the 45. Closed down by Damien Burke and others. Burke had the ball. Appeared to pick it up off the ground. It's a free to Cork.
Well, there was an absolute rollicking run that time from Canty from full-back, and that's the type of leadership he's capable of giving. Probably the best inter-county footballer, potentially the best inter-county footballer in the country, maybe more suited the further out. James
Masters, Conor McCarthy, the Cork playmaker. McCarthy steadies himself. Oh dear, that's a shaky start. Really expected him to put that over. Made the space so well.
Yeah, he rushed that one actually, Dara. It's interesting actually how easily he sold the dummy that time to Paul Clancy, who fell for it. And again in the Munster final, McCarthy's probing roles, in particular to the wings, were very, very effective for Cork.
Brian O'Donoghue with the restart. Derek Kavanagh got a fist to that. Barry Cullinan. Big test for the two young men at midfield for Galway, Cullinan and Coleman. The break. Meehan goes after it. Can't get there.
That's a wrong call if the umpire signals is wide. It was a 45, definitely.
Signalled eventually as a 45. Well, clearly, Cork man last to touch it. And the angle won't bother. Meehan missed his first attempt from a placed ball. There is a little bit of comfort in the fact for Galway fans that he's kicking it off the ground. There's Billy Morgan. Nervy start from both teams. Meehan into Torrick Joyce. Gets away from Niall Geary. Joyce with the space. Joyce with the point. Once he got away from his man, it was never in any doubt. And he has started very brightly. Been marked today by his great friend Graham Canty.
So silky in his movements that time. Leaves Niall Geary trailing in his wake and just flicks it over nonchalantly with his left foot.
Graham Canty pumping it very long. Philip Clifford, that trusty left boot, has deserted him when he needed it most. 2 wides for Cork already inside the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, Philip Clifford actually has been marked by Finian Hanley. One of the duels that is interesting to me actually is Brendan Ger-Sullivan has been marked by Alan Burke, who's a very small, compact, little pocket battleship at cornerback. Great man at going forward, but you just fear sometimes that if Brendan Ger-Sullivan gets ball in the air, Alan Burke could struggle.
Peter Ford looking pensive. Crowd at the moment small enough, just like yesterday. Kevin McMahon. Foul on the ground. Cork want to take it quickly. Referee won't let them do it. Just be a ticking for Cullinan.
Yeah, a bit of a commentator's curse here actually. Brendan Ger-Sullivan is going to wing forward onto Declan Meehan, and James Masters has now been marked in the corner by Alan Burke.
Well, it was Masters who took the free. Philip Clifford, lots of movement from him. He was the captain at 99. It's Hanley beside him. Ran straight into Paul Clancy. Conor McCarthy. Well, they're having to work hard to keep this alive. James Masters. Brendan Ger-Sullivan spots the space, spots Anthony Lynch in that space. Owen Sexton completely free. Nicholas Murphy waiting inside. Sexton went for the point himself. Well, he's put it over, but Nicholas Murphy was totally unmarked just in front of the Galway goal. They'll be happy with the point. There could have been more, though.
Oh, very, very good point, actually, Dara. Owen Sexton that time, had he noticed Nicholas Murphy, had drifted completely into the small rectangle. Should have been given the ball. There was a definite goaling chance on there. It was glaringly obvious from us up here. And Barry Cullinan needs to get his defensive duties sorted out very quickly to avoid a repeat of that.
A little push by Sexton. Spotted well by the referee. It was Joe Bergen who he fouled. Just fractionally before that was the slightest of nudges from Sexton. On another day you get away with it. Bergen pumps it in long. Joyce and Canty. Sean Armstrong trying to get to the break. He's been watched by Anthony Lynch, and that's a free in. Porrick Joyce, the player, fouled on the ground. Another opportunity for me, and here's why.
Oh, I think it was a soft enough free, to be fair about it. I think he went down quite easily there. But, okay, the referee has called it as it is. It's an easy, well, not an easy enough chance, but a kickable chance for Porrick Joyce.
Yeah, as you can see, it's Porrick Joyce who's going to have the go. Out of the hands. Kevin O'Dwyer, you can hear him talking to his defenders. No doubt about it. 2 points for Galway, both from their full forward.
Just on that, Dara, one of the tactics that has surprised me a little bit with Galway so far, they're kicking the ball in high into Porrick Joyce and Graham Canty, who Canty has a significant height advantage over Joyce, but quite clearly it's some issue that Peter Ford has identified as being a potential weakness in the Cork team, by, you know, and he's hoping to exploit that.
Kevin O'Dwyer, 12 years, the Cork goalkeeper. Niall Coleman again, they go long. This time it's for Michael Meehan. Gets hands to it, been held back by Geary, been dragged by Geary. Would the advantage have helped Galway more? Would Meehan have got free? But Geary clearly fouling.
Yeah, Geary was fouling him that time again. Meehan very, very strong. May have been allowed to go on that time. Possibly would have had a good point chance, but it's certainly a gimme this time for Porrick Joyce.
Now Niall Geary, first Waterford native. He's from Tramore to play in an All-Ireland Senior Football Championship match at Croke Park. It's a yellow card for him. No, that's not the start he would want. Geary and Murphy, Galway feel they can put pressure on both cornerbacks. Geary with a yellow card, and Porrick Joyce with a very easy conversion from the free. He's got all of them. Murphy trying for Cork. Declan Meehan back over here on the right-hand side. Free out, being adjudged to have fouled Niall Geary. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Torrey Joyce tracking back well. Galway have it with Damien Burke. Matthew Clancy running ahead of Damien Burke. It was the wrong option, straight into the arms of Owen Sexton, Cork's only point scorer in this match. Conor McCarthy, free.
Yeah, certainly Galway are applying pressure very, very quickly in every tackle onto their Cork opponents. That time, a case in point, Clancy very quickly in on his opponent, Conor McCarthy.
Well, a lot of young, inexperienced players out there. Peter Ford will be very pleased with the way they've settled. Well, it's one of the more senior players, Pádraig Joyce, who's got all three of their scores.
Yeah, he's orchestrating the plot so far, it must be said, but again, the overall work rate, commitment and application is outstanding from Galway's point of view.
Well, they just kicked that away. Harmless, really, picked up easily by Graham Canty. Michael Donlan has been marked by Anthony Lynch. He's out at centre forward. Gary Murphy, like Geary, latecomer to the Cork senior panel, 30 years of age. Here's Kevin McMahon. McMahon with runners left and right. Sexton to his right. Inside to James Masters. Goal chance. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. Masters ankle tap from behind on his way through. Just like they did against Sligo. They've got a penalty, Cork.
Yeah, the incision that time was surgical, and again I think it was Alan Burke who probably came in, caught him, just ankle tapped him. Don't think it was delivered or anything, but certainly found him just in the process as he was kicking the ball. Definite penalty. But again, the thrust from that time, I think it was Sexton coming through. The support play from Masters, top class.
And a change of penalty taker from Cork. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan took the penalty against Sligo. It was saved and subsequently buried by James Masters. A beautiful finish. Brian O'Donoghue in the Galway goal. It's John Hayes, the 19-year-old, who will take the penalty kick. Hayes against O'Donoghue. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. Perfect placement from Hayes. Cork lead.
Textbook penalty kick that time, just low, right to the corner. Very little that young O'Donoghue could do for it, even though he anticipated it very well. Top class strike.
He's a young man who really has made a big impression on Cork football in 2005. So now, Nicholas Murphy. Referee's going to throw the ball in to restart the game.
As a contrast to yesterday now, when the player in the same position was actually, generally speaking, given the free after having put the ball.
Declan Meehan, some afters between Conor McCarthy and Barry Cullinan. Here's Joe Bergen of Galway. Owen Sexton with him. Bergen hasn't got the ball anymore. Cork can. Sean Armstrong. Pádraig Joyce. Joyce fancies this. The confidence is up. That is just top draw from Pádraig Joyce. Great response to the Cork penalty. One of the best points you will see in any game.
That is a delightful strike that time from Pádraig Joyce. Absolutely instinctive for Brendan Ger Sullivan. What in the name of God is he breaking the first principle of all textbooks in Gaelic football of kicking a ball across your own square? Had the plenty of opportunity to give it down the wing, played it into the middle, exploited by the Galway attack, and a great score from Joyce.
Got their noses in front. Peg back. Owen Sexton. It's the Pádraig Joyce show. He's got all four for Galway. Noel O'Leary. That's very high. Kieran Fitzgerald. The experiment of him at fullback over with Finian Hanley in there and doing well. Much happier in the corner, Fitzgerald. Anthony Lynch free. Sean Armstrong, just a little push on Lynch. James Masters. John Hayes. McCarthy to his left. Hayes back inside, didn't get hold of it at all. And Brian O'Donoghue got to the pitch of that. Barry Cullinan. Paul Clancy. Now Michael Donovan, you can see the groin is the problem. He's wearing those cycling shorts. James Masters.
Yeah, he's been picked up at the moment by a formidable marker, though, and Anthony Lynch, who's very, very tight on him.
Masters. Familiar sight, the left sock up and the right sock down. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan needs to get more into the game for Cork. Derek Kavanagh. That's Niall Coleman of Galway with him. High challenge on the way out. Foul by Philip Clifford. John Hayes was there too, but Clifford's arms seem to be up quite high.
This Galway team actually this year, Dara, is way more flinty than it was in the last 18 months or so. It's been re-energised somewhat by Peter Ford.
Sean Armstrong, Gary Murphy taken out of the game. Joyce is inside, Armstrong goes himself. Joyce was thinking about a goal. Armstrong took the point. Galway back in front, they have responded well.
Yeah, again, a mistake that time. Young Armstrong, he could see Joyce out of the side of his eye looking for the pass. Again, Graham Canty held his ground. Armstrong took the point well, but Joyce will be disappointed that he didn't receive the pass because a goaling chance was definitely there.
James Masters struggling a little bit. A minor here in 2000 when Cork won the All-Ireland, so used to the surroundings. Well, you'd be happy if you can be in the tension of an All-Ireland quarter-final.
Yeah, Peter Ford, definitely a very, very calm man. Certainly he will absorb everything. Analytical brain, will work everything out very, very well. Very good manager. Galway lucky to have him.
Well, early to be thinking about it, but just to remind you about the RTE Bank of Ireland Man of the Match competition, couple of tickets and accommodation in Dublin for the All-Ireland Senior semi-finals on August the 28th. Numbers on your screen, and for Northern Ireland as well. Text us or call us. John Hayes of Cork. Hayes gets away from Kieran Fitzgerald, non-existent challenge. McMahon was inside. Hayes wants it himself. He's going well. Had the option inside. A goal and a point for John Hayes. And this seems to be his stage. 19 years of age, he's flying.
Lovely little spin that time out of the tack from Kieran Fitzgerald. Again, has the composure that, you know, belies his age, and casually puts the ball over the bar with his left foot. Very good score from a player who's on form at the moment.
Nicholas Murphy. It's very crowded in there. They both crowded out midfield in their provincial finals. Michael Meehan. That's Niall Geary who's marking him. Remember, Geary on a yellow card. Meehan, one way, then the other. Great feat from Meehan, but can he get away from the cover? Has to turn back again. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They say in Galway they're still waiting for him to do it on the senior stage, but that isn't bad at all, is it?
Well, certainly Niall Geary's legs that time will have been in knots after the twisting he got that time from Michael Meehan. Again, who gets back onto his trusty left foot, has the confidence again to swing over an excellent point. Some of the point scoring, Dara, so far has been top drawer.
Well, we expected open attacking football from both of them. We've certainly got it. Taken by Kevin McMahon at the back of that cluster of players. Noel O'Leary. Kevin McMahon. Galway have only 3 attackers in the Cork half, so you can see how congested it is. Here's James Masters. Hard to find space, but he's got some space, and he's got some support from Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Brilliant. He needs to start well, Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Level for a 4th time in this match, and he has started well. That augurs well for Cork.
Again, a fabulous score. Masters again has the composure, just holds the ball up, and Brendan Ger Sullivan, that he's well capable of doing, strikes a lovely drifting kick over the bar with his right. And as I said a couple of moments ago, the point scoring is just delicious at the moment.
Scoring from most attacks, these two. Barry Cullinan of Galway. Matthew Clancy. Clancy finding some space. Derek Kavanagh can't get close enough to him. Pádraig Joyce, 2 on him, 3 in. Owen Sexton, the guilty party. It was an awkward looking challenge, and Pádraig Joyce is hurt.
But Joyce that time was wide open actually when Sexton came in to him, and I think he shipped quite a belt on his hip. That could have lasting consequences for the rest of the game, Dara.
That's a yellow. Two right-sided defenders for Cork now on bookings, Niall Geary and Owen Sexton.
Yeah, again, it was a drifted ball across from the far side from Matthew Clancy that time, coming between Canty and Warwick Joyce. I thought Joyce was a little bit open, and certainly Sexton exploited that and made contact.
Well, let's just have a look at this, what happened to Warwick Joyce.
Yeah, he caught him heavily, all right, and deservedly deserved to get a card for it.
He certainly did. The shoulder causing problems as well. Well, look at this penalty again from John Hayes. Masters, the player who was fouled by Alan Burke.
Yeah, Alan Burke just caught him on the heels. Beautifully dispatched. Textbook.
Michael Donlan will take this free and look to put Galway in front again. They've been setting the pace. Donlan, off the upright again for a second time. Matthew Clancy onto it, still going. Noel O'Leary comes to Cork's rescue and wins a free out. Second time Galway have hit the woodwork.
Yeah, but credit Matthew Clancy. He anticipated at that time. He was alive to the situation, and again a little bit unlucky not to have controlled the ball as it came off the post. Again, just watch it coming in here. Gets the hand in. Ball just runs away from a little bit, and again could have been curtains for the Cork defence.
If you're into omens, they're not good signs for Galway. Twice hitting the upright. Noel O'Leary, sides level. Now Kevin McMahon of Carbery Rangers. Derek Kavanagh a little surprised, but glad to hang on to it. McMahon going long. Brian O'Donoghue out of his line. Under pressure from John Hayes. That's good goalkeeping. Clancy, Michael Donlan. Completely free is Barry Cullinan. Has Declan Meehan overlapping. Cullinan belts it in towards Meehan. O'Dwyer's dropped it. Meehan in there. Goal for Galway. What a disaster for Kevin O'Dwyer. He is vulnerable under the high ball, and he's been caught.
Well, it was just oohing and ahhing to myself there with the beauty of the foot passing there out of the Galway defence, but it took ultimately a mistake by Kevin O'Dwyer to present the occasion for Meehan, who had the presence of mind to exploit it and take an opportunist goal. But the foot passing from the left cornerback position across the field that resulted in that was worth watching again.
Anthony Lynch of Cork has really been put up to them now. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan, Nicholas Murphy. Gary Murphy up from cornerback. Brendan Ger has one already. Kevin McMahon. McMahon trying to break the challenge. James Masters. Masters sets himself. Brilliant. This match is just quality all the way through.
It's like a beautiful box of chocolates, Dara. It's just delightful. And again, that point and that response from Cork, wonderful to watch. Again, Masters the confidence to shoot from an awkward angle. Just wish other teams would copy this style of football. It's beautiful to be here watching them, and credit to both teams.
Cork will be happy with the way they responded after the shock of the Meehan goal.
I just noticed Joe Bergen that time going for that ball. Dara, a lot expected of Joe, but again he's coming back after a problem in his knee and maybe just short of match fitness.
Hanley and Clifford, that's gone the way of the young Galway man. Paul Clancy again looking to switch it over here, but Anthony Lynch read it. He's still marking Donlan. Here's Owen Sexton. Matthew Clancy tracking back. Kevin McMahon to Anthony Lynch. Lynch looking for some movement to head that maroon wall in front of the Galway goal. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan, he's pulled it. It's a third wide.
Yeah, the accuracy actually today has been very, very encouraging. Some of the shooting again from awkward angles, top drawer. But again, another lad there, just like to mention, Kevin McMahon. It's the first time really watching him. I saw him in the Munster final, but today he's just got a beautiful, languid motion to him, and he's again causing problems on the far wing for the Galway defence.
McMahon missed that. Here's Noel O'Leary now. Conor McCarthy hasn't really been allowed to build any sort of an attacking platform for Cork in the centre. It's very crowded. Derek Kavanagh. McCarthy in a wide position now. Derek Kavanagh free inside it. Now he's met by Cullinan. Lost it in the contact. Joe Bergen working hard on that far side. Damien Burke. Well, they've held on to it. Declan Meehan. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Paul Clancy. Chance for him to attack it again. Meehan isolated with Murphy. O'Dwyer out of his line. Has to be a goal. Meehan, it's another goal for Galway. He got one-on-one with Murphy. He's loving this. So are Galway.
Well, that's as sweet a score as you could get. Again, Meehan's strength held up Geary. Then he will need to make a change down there. Gets past Kevin O'Dwyer. Just watch it. Just keeps the nerve and slots it in. That's a great score for Galway.
2 goals in 3 minutes for Galway and for Michael Meehan.
Actually, I think it was Gary Murphy's in that case that he brushed aside. It wasn't Niall Geary, but again, took the goal very well.
Brilliant stuff from Meehan. Cork in a spot of bother. Torrick Joyce. Niall Coleman. Again, look at that. They've isolated him one-on-one. Meehan causing problems for Murphy. He was being held back, surely. Back into a very crowded area. And Cork able to deal with that. Owen Sexton clearing it away. And this is one of the tactics that Peter Ford has come up with. Wants to get Meehan in that full forward line almost on his own. He is on his own on many occasions. They tuck the ball into him, and Murphy just not able to cope. Owen Sexton of Cork need a score just to settle them down again.
Yeah, they just need to calm it down a little bit. And you're right in saying that Meehan has a half parish to himself in there. The Galway attack is, Armstrong has been drawn out for quite a bit. Corey Joyce is going out quite a bit and leaving the 1-against-1 between Meehan and whichever the 2 cornerbacks he's on at a particular time. Very effective tactic, has yielded 2 goals. Barry Cullinan, black card earlier, so it's upgraded to a yellow after his second offence. James Masters lining up this free. They've been playing well, Cork, just punished at the back by Michael Meehan. Wind getting a little bit stronger. Masters never got hold of that at all. Conor McCarthy didn't make much of an attempt to get hands on it. Here's Michael Donnellan. Space all over the place. They're all bunched up in the middle. Sean Armstrong away from Niall Geary. Geary does that. He gives the attacker the space and then tries to get the ball from him. Derek Kavanagh. Gary Murphy. Very tough few minutes for the Nemo Rangers man. Conor McCarthy. Nicholas Murphy. Masters. On the right boot this time. Poor pass. Look where Joe Bergen was, sitting in front of the full back line, keeping Paul Clancy, the centre-back, company. That's a free out. Yeah, and again, Cork have drawn back quite a few of their midfielders in front of Michael Meehan at the moment to try and thwart the threat that he's posing for them. As Cork try and build another attack, there's only 2 Galway players, now 3. The entire full forward line in the Cork half. Yeah, what is very refreshing, Dara, is the reliance on crisp, accurate foot passing that Galway are bringing to the table today. It's really a delight. They're switching the wings. There's great variation to it, and there's a delightful flow to the style that they have. Typical Galway coming into Croke Park. Masters. Nicholas Murphy just couldn't hang on to it. Looks good for Galway at the moment, but a long way to go. Niall Coleman. Again, look at that, switch it all the way across. Torrick Joyce looking for the space, finding the space and possession. Alan Burke has come up with him, the right cornerback. Joyce just teasing. Graham Canty, Sean Armstrong. Niall Geary with him.
Some trickery from Armstrong. He's got support inside as well. Look at that. They were calling them the Terrible Twins Part 2 in Galway, which the comparisons were probably a little unfair, but they are flying here.
Yeah, well, we cited both beforehand to watch his two-footed ability and his composure and what I call economy on the ball. And again, that score that time, he did everything that was required to give himself the room. Then he pulled the trigger that resulted in a fine score.
Well, Pádraig Joyce got the first 4 points for Galway. The last 5 scores, 2 goals and 3 points, scored by Michael Meehan and Sean Armstrong.
Yeah, and again, it's over 10 minutes, I think, since Brendan Ger Sullivan scored the last one for Cork, and they need to score very quickly to get them back into the game.
2-7 to 1-4.
Oh no, Master scored, I think, in the 22nd minute, actually.
...60 years of age, Billy Morgan now. Seen it all, done it all, won it all. Really excited about working with this team this year. Big conference going on down on the sideline in front of us involving the Cork management team. Need a couple of scores as we head to half-time. Under 4 minutes to the break. John Hayes having to travel a long way, has Kieran Fitzgerald with him. That's still in play. Hayes left it for Fitzgerald. Alan Burke, Joe Bergen, 4 Corkmen around him. He still manages to get the ball away. There'll be other players free. Alan Burke to his cousin Damien, and they're going again. The Burkes trying to tear Cork open. Michael Donlan. Donlan showing great determination. Cork trying to swarm around him. Here's Pádraig Joyce. Completely free inside was Matthew Clancy. Joyce just couldn't get it to him. Anthony Lynch winning it back for Cork. McMahon to Conor McCarthy. James Masters is the player ahead of him. McCarthy still in possession. Got away from Damien Burke. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Declan Meehan is marking him. O'Sullivan on the left boot. Shouts a great score. White flag goes up.
And that's what it is, a wonderful score off the left foot, because again, Declan Meehan putting him under a lot of pressure, but again, the beauty of a two-footed player can get onto his left once his right is covered, and again, strikes it very well. Great score from distance.
Just closes the gap a little bit. That's their first score in 9 minutes.
Yeah, but they're still well in this game, Dara. I mean, it's been a very even game. It's taken the opportunism of Meehan really to kind of put the difference between the teams, but Cork is still giving as good as it can get.
Joe Bergen giving him plenty around midfield. Seemed to throw that ball though. Declan Meehan. Referee was unsighted. Barry Cullinan. Here come Galway. They're pouring forward. Niall Coleman to Paul Clancy. He knows what to do when he's up here, but the defensive instinct took over again. Well fielded, Derek Kavanagh. Kevin McMahon took a very heavy hit, but still going. Graham Canty. Anthony Lynch shouting for it over here, but they'll go the other side. Conor McCarthy making a move ahead of Canty. Hasn't lost it, never will. Here's Anthony Lynch. Lynch up from centre-back. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan behind him. Clancy's challenge wasn't good. Jersey pull on Lynch, he's got his point. Would have got the free anyway. Shirt was been pulled back. Very positive football from Lynch. Yeah,
positive, heroic, and great courage that time. Again, look at the determination. It goes past one opponent, both Meehan and again past Clancy. And again, shoots under great pressure and gets a great score. That's the kind of leadership and that's the kind of commanding performance that you require from Anthony Lynch at the moment to kind of get Cork back into this.
Some would prefer to see him back in the corner, but he's playing extremely well at centre-half back for Cork. Real steadying influence on them, and we're in the last minute of the first half. There'll be 2 additional minutes. Fielded by Barry Cullinan. Declan Meehan. Side's last met in the championship was one of the qualifiers 4 years ago. It was here at Croke Park. Galway won with 4 points on their way to winning the All-Ireland. Conor McCarthy. easily away from Matthew Clancy. Nothing sort of a challenge. Kevin McMahon, Michael Donlan working hard. McMahon hanging onto it well. He's had a very solid game. James Masters, difficult for him to collect. Galway have it. Paul Clancy, Michael Donlan, Kieran Fitzgerald attacking to his left. Donlan sizing up the options. Sean Armstrong scored a couple of fabulous points. Away from John Hayes. Armstrong so powerful. Here's Michael Meehan, just couldn't hang on to it. First error he's made all day, and Gary Murphy relieved to be able to pick it up for Cork. Graham Canty. Well, they've repelled Galway that time. Slow to release it out to Kevin McMahon. Now they go direct. James Masters in a race with Kieran Fitzgerald. The former All-Star doing well for his county again. Paul Clancy. Oh, Niall Coleman free. Not a bad hurler either, Niall Coleman. Now that's missed Joyce, it's missed Canty, but not Kevin O'Dwyer. Noel O'Leary. Nicholas Murphy. And Murphy still going, but eventually brought down by Barry Cullinan. Jersey pull on Conor McCarthy. Referee lets it develop. Damien Burke is marking him. James Masters. Kevin McMahon. Galway have that defensive screen in place again, and they're forcing Cork wide. John Hayes. Derek Cabinet is the furthest forward for Cork inside, and he's trying to show Hayes where he wants it. That's a free in. Shirt pull by Kieran Fitzgerald.
Yeah, lazy tackling that time actually, because he had him in the place where he wanted him, out there along the sideline. It just pulls him back into himself, and a correct decision. But again, just to pick up on your commentary there, Dara, Galway are forcing them wide. They're funneling back so many players. The likes of Michael Donlan is in twin centre half at the moment. Cullinan, Coleman are coming back, and they're just making it very, very difficult. The work rate is wonderful at the moment from Galway. But again, Credit Cork, they're nibbling their way back into it. 12
scoring chances each. Well, this will be 13 for Cork. And this is a very important moment. Scored a brilliant penalty, John Hayes. Just close the gap and send them in at half-time on a high. Well, they'll have to find encouragement from somewhere else. They'll certainly get that from their manager, I'm sure, at half-time, Billy Morgan. You got a shot as well of John Maughan, a very interested spectator. Busy afternoon ahead. There's the whistle for half-time, and what an entertaining first half in the first All-Ireland quarter-final. Michael Meehan, a couple of fantastic goals, real opportunist poachers goals. John Hayes with that lovely penalty as well. Cork have suffered those two body blows from the two goals, but they've come back. Both teams playing lovely attacking open football, and a thrilling second half to come, we hope, here at Croke Park. And we expect the half-time score, Galway in charge, leading by 2-7 to Cork's 1-6. Now we'll go down to the sideline and join Marty Morrissey. Marty.
Thank you very much, Dara. Coleman Corrigan, I'm sure you're not too happy coming up to that half-time whistle.
No, certainly not. We're actually lucky to be only 4 points down. Galway played really well. The 2 goals are a huge difference. If we don't improve and improve fast, this game is over.
Certainly those 2 goals were crucial, and I'm sure you're going to be disappointed with the manner in which you conceded.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the goals was a terrible mistake by our goalkeeper. Sometimes that happens. It's an unfortunate incident to happen in such a big game. But we've got to pick ourselves up in the first 10 minutes of the second half is vital. We've got to come out with all guns blazing in the start of the second half.
Thank you, Coleman. I know you're going back to the dressing room. Frank Broderick. In contrast, I'm sure you're quite happy at half-time.
We're reasonably pleased. We've played well in patches, but not for the entirety of the first half. But we're reasonably pleased to be ahead.
Those 2 goals really did bring you back into the game.
Yeah, they came at good stages for us, and maybe we got breaks to get them all right. The lads took them well, and they put themselves in the position, the dangerous position up around goal, and luckily enough it paid off for us. We must continue like that.
Frank Broderick, thank you very much for joining us. That's it from the sideline. Let's go back to Michael Lester.
Martin Morrissey, thank you very much indeed. So the advantage with Galway then at half-time, but have Cork a response? There's no doubt they're going to try very hard in that second half. There is a place in the All-Ireland semi-final at stake. OK, we're going to take a little breather here at Croke Park. After that, we have analysis of that first half, so join us again shortly. In the All-Ireland football quarter-final between Galway and Cork. Galway leading Cork by 2 goals and 7 points to 1 goal and 6 points. Remember also Mayo and Kerry coming up a little bit later on at 3:30. Joe Brawley, Colin O'Rourke here with me on the programme. Good, lively first half, Joe.
Class. Very, very, very good football. And, you know, particularly pleasing from the Galway perspective is that, you know, they've clearly now got a system of play. And, you can't, until you appreciate and understand Armagh, Tyrone and Kerry's system of play, there's no way that you can consider beating them. You know, you can't go out and play a conventional formation. And Peter Ford has taken a leaf from their book. The 3 half-forwards are playing as defenders, forgetting about their men. Once the ball goes over their head, they're turning. All 3 of them are back into the full back line. And they're all good ball carriers. And what it means is that as soon as a Cork man comes into the scoring zone, he's been held up, marked, there's no space. So what they're having to do is run the ball from the half-back line. And it's very difficult to do that, and it's something you've got to work at and work at and work at. And you saw the way Tyrone and Armagh cancelled each other out when they played. And Cork are getting increasingly frustrated because they can't get the ball to the danger men inside. And Galway are breaking out then, and then they can give that long ball to these dangerous forwards who have the crowd on the edge of their seats.
It's always a help when you have a forward like Michael Meehan. Now, admittedly, his goals were helped, I suppose, by 1 or 2 defensive errors, but nonetheless, like, he's such a sharp forward. He's such a talent.
Well, Meehan is a goal scorer, and I suppose what you need to do with a goal scorer is you isolate him in as close to goals as possible. Now, this long ball that comes in here from Barry Cullinan, it was a hit and hope, and you know you can see Kevin O'Dwyer coming out and you're saying, oh no, don't do it, go back, and it's too late. And of course Meehan is there sniffing around all the time. Well, you know, he scored 100 goals maybe this year already, and that's
already right on.
And he was on his face. And he was intimidating them, you know, and he was putting all that pressure on.
Here's number 2.
But you have the most experienced part of the Galway team against the most experienced part of the Cork team, and at this stage it's the Galway forwards who are winning that battle. Again, Kevin O'Dwyer, if he didn't get the ball, he should have got the man out there. You know, you can't afford to let that. But like, in fairness, again, Meehan, you know, shimmies around his man and puts him with the right foot. And what we have today is a lot of good 2-footed players on both sides, and the point scoring from play has been very good, which also shows, of course, you have to say defending has been poor by both teams.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, Kevin O'Dwyer is entitled to ask where some of his defenders were. When he got himself into trouble. Let's look at the others. Okay, well, fine.
Primarily the goalies' fault.
The Cork penalty. Again, when Cork did get in around there, they had Galway panicking as well, so let's have a look at that.
And he's a very elegant player, that boy Hayes, and he's only 19, and he kicked a terrific score as well. But this is what Cork are having to do. Look how many Galway jerseys are back, so they have to run it through them. You know, and look, you know, you just have to be patient. And the other thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to let their halfbacks go back and protect their fullbacks, because their 2 wing halfbacks are now unemployed essentially. They're standing out there in position. They're going to have to go back and protect their fullbacks, because you can't continue to allow Meehan and Armstrong, you know, to do what they've been doing. I mean, for a 19-year-old, what an excellent penalty. I saw him practicing them beforehand, and he put every single one on the other side. And then, you know, I was saying to you, I bet he'll put it on the right side.
That was poor defending there. Like, you know, it's not all good attacking play, you know. The cornerback or somebody should have been cutting across there to stop that last pass. Like, it was obvious for 10 seconds where the last ball was going to end up, and some of the cornerbacks should have been leaving their men and coming across and covering in front of their goal. And Galway getting caught out like that a bit, and Brian O'Donoghue is having to play a bit out of the goals in order to cover for balls in over the top.
Yeah, he's like a fly goalkeeper at times there. And okay, our second game of the day here at Croke Park, as I said a moment ago, is the meeting of Kerry and Mayo. Now, once again, the West and the South represented in that fixture. Their supporters here early at Croke Park this afternoon for this feast of football.
Well, it's hard to believe that just 11 months ago these 2 counties met in the All-Ireland football final. On that particular occasion, Kerry came out the victors. What will it be today? Well, I've a couple of Mayo and Kerry people here beside me. Let's get their views. Pat, I know you're from Mayo. What do you think is going to happen today?
Well, Mayo's going to give a great run to Kerry today. It's out due for 50-51.
But your performances haven't been great so far now.
They haven't, no, but they'll have to mark them close and close them down. But they have a good team this year now. They ran close in the league, which Armagh should be beaten. No. And I think they have a 50-50 stance.
Good man, Pat. Thank you very much. would you agree with Pat?
I would. If they could win midfield, they have a few good forwards now, and I wouldn't like to see them beaten by too much, because I wouldn't like to see them peak too soon. Last year they peaked against Tyrone, so if they could do it in the All-Ireland, we'd be happy.
Okay.
I travelled up on the train with them, and they seemed fairly confident. They were happy, so up Mayo.
Okay, well, very confident Mayo. Let's go down to Munster. What do the Kerry lads think? You've beaten them before. Is this just a mere formality?
I wouldn't think so, Marty. I think it'll be a much tighter game than people are predicting. This time a year ago, Mayo weren't given much of a chance against Tyrone, and yet they beat them in the quarter-final. Kerry been slow enough in their last 2 or 3 matches, but hopefully today Croke Park, they like Croke Park and the open space. It should suit my hope.
Okay, well, let's see one more view. Do you think Kerry are going to win?
Oh, very much so, yeah. They've a great habit of peaking and getting it right in the day, especially when they come up to Croke Park, and we feel their performance will get better as the year goes on, and hopefully another win. Hopefully a closer game than last year. Wouldn't like to see it 2-1-sided again, but Kerry to win maybe 5 or 6 points.
A modest Kerry man as usual. Well, we look forward to a repeat of the All-Ireland football final. You can see it here on RT2 and the Sunday game live at 3:30.
Well, I'm sure Mayo wouldn't be looking forward to a repeat of the results. Anyway, we're back with more after this break. Cork at half-time at the All-Ireland football quarter-final between Galway and Cork. Galway leading Cork 2 goals, 7 points to 1 goal and 6 points. We saw Meehan's goals. They were important to Galway, but early in the game, Colin Porrick Joyce was, as usual, the main man for them. Scored a couple of nice points in play as well.
Yeah, well, the Galway forward line always seemed to work best in Croke Park. And Joyce, who wasn't good in the Connacht final, I think he was injured.
Yes.
He's looked very sharp here, and he scored the first 4 points for Galway. That's a beautiful ball, and he was the one that settled the whole Galway team down in the beginning, got the ball, did the right thing, took his scores, kicked a couple of easy frees, and then Galway grew in confidence then as the half went on.
Yeah. Coming back to a point that Colin O'Rourke made before the match, Joe Brawley, and this is coming into the second half, and now it's a warm day, lovely day here in Dublin. Fitness is very important. Whoever has the legs for those last 10 or 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, it was a roasting day in the Munster final, and Cork stayed the pace, no problem that day, do you remember?
Yes.
And it was really blistering hot, and Galway have no difficulty at all in that department. I mean, they're so pacey and athletic, all of it. I mean, that guy Declan Meehan, you know, I mean, they're and the pace of the game is absolutely terrific to watch and so exciting, and I must say I'm very, very taken with the way Galway are playing the game. The TV won't do it justice, obviously, but the way they're playing, they're so dynamic. And I mean, every time the ball comes in and around the full forward line, you know, the crowd are on their seats. And, I mean, you can't, boys like Meehan, they're worth their weight in gold. You can't buy people, you know, they're born like that, and they're born to it. Yeah. I mean, the guy sniffs a goal chance and he's in there like a day's work. I mean, the crowd are so excited. It's a very good match.
It's a throwback to a different era of football that Galway are playing. You know, they're getting the ball and not afraid to kick it in. Yeah. Croke Park is a corner forward's paradise. But I think the big thing now, and I make this point all the time on hot days, and it's very, very hot here, the strong panel. Yeah. You know, Galway are going to have to bring in a few subs. Cork have plenty of strength in the subs with Levis and Martin Cronin and Alan Cronin and Micheál O'Croneel. They have a lot of very experienced players, more so than Galway, but you know, the tide is flowing in Galway's favour at the moment.
It is, and Cork can get them together just to remind themselves that is exactly the case. They've got to work hard for the second half. They've got to turn around a 4-point deficit. There is a sub on the Cork team, so let's hear about that from Dara and Martin again.
Michael, thank you. We're just going to get confirmation of that change on the Cork team. We understand that it's Kieran O'Connor is coming in for Niall Geary at right cornerback. Geary, like his cornerback colleague Gary Murphy on the other side, had a tough first 35 minutes. So Kieran O'Connor in wearing number 18. And there he is. No changes on Galway for this second half. They lead by 2-7 to 1-6. And the lads talking about the standard of the attacking play. Galway have scored 2-5 from play, of course, and Cork out of their total 6 points from play. The penalty converted superbly by John Hayes. What about the approach now, Martin, for both teams for the second half? It should be a great second half.
Great second half, but one thing I think we should note, Dara, is that the wind has picked up quite a bit since the end of the first half, and it's blowing in favour of Cork this half. So they'll probably try and apply the same tactic as Galway applied and let the ball in quickly into that full forward line.
Second half underway. One of these sides 35 minutes away from a place in the All-Ireland Senior Football semi-final. Lovely foot pass again from Paul Clancy. Picks out the run of Torrick Joyce. Scored 4 points in the first half, 2 from play. Barry Cullinan towards Sean Armstrong. Kieran O'Connor behind him. Safely done. Graham Canty. And now Anthony Lynch scored a very fine point towards the end of the first half. That's gone against Damien Burke. Conor McCarthy, the player foul. James Masters out for it. Another free. Declan Meehan this time pulling him down. And that wind certainly is getting stronger all the time. And the referee wants a word with Damien Burke.
Yeah, it was an aggressive enough challenge, but I don't think there was any malintent in it. He went into his back quite hard.
So a yellow for Burke. Here come Cork, James Masters. Wind aiding him now, remember. Philip Clifford goes after it. Clifford manages to hang on. Alan Burke is the Galway right cornerback. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Hat-trick of points for the full forward. Not playing at full forward, but doing extremely well. And yeah, that's a good sign for Cork. His confidence up.
Yeah, and again, it was Philip Clifford that time being imposed by Alan Burke, who won the ball in the air. And again, Brendan Ger has the confidence at the moment to pull the trigger and go for scores from difficult angles. Fine score and a good start to the second half for Cork.
Just a goal between them. First point after the restart, always so important. Confirmation of the card for Burke. Barry Cullinan. Matthew Clancy spots the movement from Niall Coleman. Derek Kavanagh making it difficult for him. Played on the ground by the Galway man. James Masters finding it very difficult. Put under pressure by Torrick Joyce. The referee's going to throw the ball in to restart the game. Second time that's happened.
Yeah, that seemed a legitimate tackling actually by the Galway lads that time. They crowded out Masters, and I feel the free might have gone for Galway.
Here's Derek Kavanagh of Cork. Been pulled back by Torrick Joyce, it appeared. Kevin McMahon. Movement from Brendan Ger O'Sullivan out in front of Filian Hanley. He is going well, you can see it just the way he's carrying himself. Conor McCarthy. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan, he threw it.
Well, there wasn't a clear striking action, so the referee was perfectly entitled to blow him for that. Let's just see it again, Dara, here. Again, okay, another referee would let you away with that, I think.
There has to be a definite striking action in the hand pass. The referee wasn't happy that it was there. Niall Coleman, indeed it's Cullinan of Galway. Paul Clancy. Not too many frees in the game. Commentators curse. Paul Clancy dusts himself down and gets Galway going forward again. Michael Meehan. 2 goals and a point in the first half. Brings Declan in. All the options inside covered. Meehan going himself. Declan Meehan closed down by O'Connor. Pulled down by O'Connor. Free in. Certain point coming up for Galway.
Yeah, lovely bit of combination that time between Michael and Declan. Declan went forward that time. O'Connor comes into and definitely rugby tackles him, pulls him down. And again a free in.
And a ticking against Kieran O'Connor. No surprise in that. Torrick Joyce will be almost certain to get point number 5. Joyce 2 from 2 place balls. Again, Kevin O'Dwyer, you can hear him talking to his defenders. Easy conversion from Torrick Joyce. 3 from 3, 5 in total. So point apiece for the 2 sides since we restarted. Cullinan with a strong fist. Bergen trying to get it back from Noel O'Leary. hasn't had too many attacking opportunities. Anthony Lynch has. Lynch finding lots of space. James Masters inside. Lynch was fouled, but he certainly seemed to exaggerate the dive. Declan Meehan caught him. Free in.
Yeah, it's good quick thinking that time by Anthony Lynch. Okay, there's a little bit of a thespian about him and the way he threw himself, but the foul was there.
He needs to work on that. Declan Meehan is spoken to by the referee. Will it be black or yellow? Yellow.
It gives a little bit more ragged actually since the commencement of the second half. A little bit more fouling, a little bit more fear on both sides. Not as open or as fluent as the first half so far.
James Masters. No trouble for Masters. Had problems with the freeze during the first half. Galway are making a change. Noel Meehan is coming in. And it's Niall Coleman who's gone off.
To be fair, Barry Cullinan has been doing most of the work around the middle of the park, and okay, Niall Coleman will have his day again, but today was maybe, you know, he was somewhat quiet.
Goal between them again. Michael Meehan was tackled high, referee lets it develop. Matthew Clancy, Cork swarming around the ball carrier. Joe Bergen, that's very high. Bergen, almost like a Gary Owen, tried to get it. Quick taken from Joyce. Michael Donnellan, oh, wide. What an opportunity for Michael.
Quick thinking again by Corey Joyce, kind of a nothing ball hopping around, spotted Michael Donnellan. Yeah, we can't see it on screen here, but one of the corner forwards is right across at the other post. Yeah. I think it was
it's Meehan, Noel
Meehan, who's actually gone out the wing forward, and I think Bergen has gone to the middle of the park.
You know, they've reorganised, restructured things. Joe Bergen now very comfortable in midfield. Matthew Clancy of Galway, again they run straight at Cork. Corey Joyce territory once more.
Yeah, Matthew Clancy is one of those players there, one of the least heralded of the forwards, wouldn't be very prolific in the scoring area, but he puts in an immense amount of work, you know, getting in little blocks, picking up breaking balls, making these little thrusts into the Cork defence, and again does, you know, so much hoovering up for the other lads around him.
Three from three, this to go 4 from 4 and give Galway a 4-point cushion here in Croke Park. Well, there's this great debate, we were having it yesterday, about players taking the freeze out of the hand, but he's normally extremely accurate.
Well, there's Porrick Joyce and there are other players, and Porrick Joyce, when it comes to taking place kicks, be it from the hand or from the ground, is just a really exceptional kicker.
Galway with just 2 wides in this match. Cork yet to have one in the second half, but 4 from the first. That's gone against Bergen. It's a free to Cork, which Derek Kavanagh is anxious to take. Movement from Conor McCarthy way out in front of Damien Burke. McCarthy for a ball, easily picked up by Barry Cullinan, who's still getting through the work for Galway. Joe Bergen, his worst moment of the match.
We've been very complimentary about the Galway attack, but the way they're defending collectively is a great credit to them. They're getting bodies back all the time and managing at the same time to have the fitness to get up front to support their attackers.
Canty picks out McMahon, turns back in, spots Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Now McMahon is to his right. Great feet from Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Good pace as well. Going for the point, won't get it. Brian O'Donoghue, safe pair of hands in the Galway goal. They would have expected more from that attack, Cork. Kieran Fitzgerald to Michael Donnellan. Great buzz around the place now. Sean Armstrong, Kieran O'Connor. He started pretty positively, Kieran O'Connor. He's been fouled by Armstrong.
Yeah, I think there was a foot block, or a trip we should say there in that case. Definitely a free.
Movement from James Masters. Cork forward starting to get out in front of their markers. Conor McCarthy Masters pumps it in long towards Philip Clifford. Clifford has hands on it again. Philip Clifford, jersey pulled back into free in. Great block down from Alan Burke. Clifford got away. Burke pulled him back.
No, great decision by the referee McDeegan, it must be said. Great bit of feeling by Clifford. Burke definitely gets a block on it, but he had pulled him back in the first case.
Well, that's a shame for Burke, but he paid for the infringement. A clear jersey pull. And the referee spotted it, and John Hayes will take the free to try and put a goal between them again. And he's done that easily. Goal and 2 for John Hayes. Cork a goal behind. Goals haven't flowed freely. You go back before the Sligo match, and I think Roscommon in 2003 was their last goal before that. Couldn't be more level in terms of possession. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan, they're not close enough on him at all. Upright. Those posts are unlucky for the attackers. For Galway in the first half, now Cork in the second. Michael Donnellan. Declan Meehan. Sean Armstrong just trying to use his body to get away from O'Connor. That was Noel O'Leary.
Yeah, he ripped away that ball very, very well from Armstrong in that case. If he hadn't have done so, I think Joyce was on a probing run through the middle.
That was the latest Cork attempt from Brendan Ger O'Sullivan.
Must be something in those posts this weekend. Quite a few balls have come off them.
Michael Donnellan will take the line ball. Kevin O'Dwyer sensibly going with the cap, the sun right into his eyes. Barry Cullinan striding forward. Bergen available. Bergen has it. He's met by Kevin McMahon. Awkward looking challenge. Matthew Clancy. Clancy has been pulled back. Good block down by Graham Canty. Kieran O'Connor. Plenty of red shirts there. Anthony Lynch sweeping back. Kevin McMahon managed the goal against Sligo. They got 3 that day. Here's Noel O'Leary raiding forward for Cork. Declan Meehan tracking him to Kevin McMahon. Wants it on the right boot, does he? They've got a free. Michael Donnellan conceding it, a soft one.
Yeah, but you can see the pride, you can see the passion bursting out of Cork at the moment. A lazy tackle by Mikey in that case. But Cork are really taking the game to them at the minute. And there's, you know, a point now. Only to put 2 between them, and it's anybody's game, Dara.
Now this is James Masters. You can see a little bit of afters between McMahon and Donnellan. Cork outscoring Galway by 3 points to 2 since we've resumed. 13 minutes into the second half. This important for James Masters and for Cork. Nicely done. Masters with 2 frees so far, and they're back to within 2 points. Cork getting ready to make a change.
Yeah, and they're winning a lot of ball around the middle of the park now. Not necessarily at first base, but around the broken ball. And again, they're applying themselves much better. And again, we must emphasise, Dara, they're being aided by a good breeze in the second half.
Which is getting stronger all the time. He'll be happier now, Billy Morgan. A lot of people congratulated them after their performance in the Munster final. And he told them it simply wasn't good enough. The scores from frees. Now here's Derek Kavanagh to Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. The goals are flowing in Croke Park. He's playing a blinder. What a goal.
What a goal. But again, the Galway defensively asking questions of themselves. How come 2 players that time were able to drift into a threatening position without markers going with them? But the perception there of that pass coming through. 2 good hand passes, but the quality of the finish rips it into the corner of the net. What a game we have here in front of us, Dara.
It hit the post, but nestled safely in the back of the net. They've had problems scoring goals in the past, but not today. Cork have 2, Galway have 2. Cork have turned it around. They lead by a point. And now we'll see what Galway are made of. Trailing. James Masters. Oof. Now Barry Cullinan. Paul Clancy. Galway looking to respond straight away. His opposite number, Anthony Lynch, claiming the ball. He's having a big game in the second half for Cork, getting through a lot of work. Barry Cullinan, challenged heavily by Nicholas Murphy. Owen Sexton. John Hayes. Sexton back to Hayes. Again completely free inside is Kevin McMahon. He's lost his marker. McMahon raiding through. McMahon goes for the point and gets it. They're really moving now.
Yeah, great pass, great support running that time from McMahon. Joe Bergen had to track him back. Again, the defensive qualities that Galway were exercising so well and applying so well in the first half have deserted him for the last while. And again, just Cork are on a roll at the moment, but McMahon's confidence that time of his left foot, certainly a great encouragement to them.
Galway's last score, 8 minutes into the second half. Cork have scored 2-3 without reply in a 5-minute spell. 4 down at the break. What a turnaround. It's a high-scoring game. It's a really exciting game, and it's going Cork's way at the moment. Derek Kavanagh. Too strong for Philip Clifford.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues there that we have at the moment, Brendan Sullivan's experience, I think, on Finian Hanley earlier, certainly was one of the reasons why they were able to exploit the Galway defence. Now, I think at the moment Clifford has been marked by Hanley, and I think Kieran Fitzgerald has gone on to Sullivan.
Alan Burke. Concentration all over his face. Declan Meehan. Galway, you can see, warming up 3 substitutes at the moment. Declan Meehan. That's Noel Meehan. Hasn't really settled into the pace of the match, hasn't seen a lot of the ball. James Masters. Noel O'Leary. Conor McCarthy. James Masters. Kevin McMahon. What feet, lovely skill just to take him away from Damien Burke. A lot of passes in this for Cork. James Masters now goes long. He spots the run of John Hayes. Finian Hanley there too. That's a Cork line ball.
Yeah, I think Damien Burke over the last while has been, you know, allowing Kevin McMahon too much latitude and needs to just get tighter, as do the other members of the half-back line. And I think one of them, Paul Clancy, has been in trouble for the last couple of minutes with an ankle problem.
And he needs treatment, does Paul Clancy. Hard to believe that Galway haven't won in Croke Park since 2001, since they won the All-Ireland against Meath.
Yeah, well, the supply lines have certainly dried up in the second half, Dara. They don't seem to be able to win breaking ball around the middle of the park. Their effort has wilted somewhat, and I know it's very warm out there, but nonetheless it's the same for both sides. But the Cork have upped their game considerably, and those scores have certainly settled them in, and they're deservedly in the lead at the minute.
Well, Galway had a break of 4 weeks from winning the Connacht final. Cork, of course, in action 8 days ago.
Yeah, and that little bit of sharpness matters, actually, Dara. I think the fact that you are able to kind of maybe iron out your difficulties last weekend can be a benefit today. But I still think Galway started very well, you know, and didn't seem to suffer any rustiness from the fact that they had a layoff since the July the 10th.
They haven't been able to get the ball. You saw Michael Meehan there being picked up by Gary Murphy. Down at the other end, it's Derek Kavanagh of Cork. Anthony Lynch, that familiar style. Conor McCarthy. Away from Paul Clancy, who I think is still struggling. Kevin McMahon has got 1 point already. Looking for a second. Square ball against Nicholas Murphy. Again, he just manages, a la Sean Kavanagh, to sneak into those positions around the opposition goal. The Galway fans roar their team on. Michael Donlan. They showed an awful lot of character to win that Connacht final. A tight game against Mayo. Well, they're going to need to show it now. Anthony Lynch. Oof. Not his best challenge against Michael Donlan, who's now involved with Noel O'Leary.
Yeah, that's definitely a foul. It could earn him a yellow card, actually, for that. But again, just a point, actually, Cullinan is playing very far back in his own defence. Michael Donlan is playing very far back in his own defence. Galway need to get players pushing up a little bit more, you know, trying to defend maybe from the 65-metre line rather than from the 45-metre line.
So the yellow for Anthony Lynch. Galway in the second half have created 3 chances and scored 2 points, both of them from frees. Lynch, I think, knew he wasn't going to get the ball. He got the man, though. Barry Cullinan. Tall Clancy. Well, it's now Galway will be looking to the experienced heads, the likes of Donlan and Joyce and Clancy, to steady them again. Noel Meehan. Meehan, difficult angle. Wide. Wrong shot selection.
Yeah, not an awful lot of support for him in that case. Again, the off-the-ball movement needs to be improved from the Galway inside line at the minute. Cork are just dominating them in a lot of sectors. They're quicker in the tackle. They're crowding them out. But again, the work isn't being done enough by the Galway forwards at the moment.
About 14 minutes to go. Galway haven't scored in 12. Barry Cullinan taken off him by James Masters. Good, powerful fielding. It was McMahon indeed, and look at Anthony Lynch again, raiding forward. Lynch with options left and right, but still going, looking for his second point. Superb, touches the air in delight, Anthony Lynch. His second point of this match. Direct football, he found big gaps.
Yeah, great concentration on the part of Lynch. Poor concentration on Porrick Joyce's part. Lynch saw the gap, went for it, left Porrick Joyce in his wake, and again struck a very good score.
What a turnaround. They lead by 3. Nicholas Murphy. It's Conor McCarthy this time. Attacking in waves now, Cork. McCarthy doesn't like that.
Yeah, middle of the park at the moment has become a wasteland for Galway. Neither Cullinan or Joe Bergen are managing to get their hands on the ball, and as a result there's an inordinate amount of pressure coming on the Galway half-back line.
Anxious times for the Galway management. That was Cork's first wide of the second half, by the way. They've had 5 in total to Galway's 3. Joe Bergen, they just can't get the ball, Galway. Conor McCarthy worrying for Galway, starting to see more of it. Here's Philip Clifford. Clifford, someone managing to hang on to it. That looks brilliant. It is brilliant from Philip Clifford. He's back on the team. He's proving a point. And Cork are really moving at the moment. 4 down at half-time. They're 4 up now.
Oh, such a turnaround, and again the strength of Clifford that time, despite the pressure from Allenburg, strikes a wonderful score, and that has been a feature of the afternoon. The high quality of point scoring from play by both sides, but in this case to Cork, and they're a fully deserved lead in the second half.
And unless Galway can do something pretty quickly, they're going to be in trouble. This could slip away from them. Michael Donlan has gone full forward for Galway. Porrick Joyce, you can see him now in that centre half forward position. Meehan surely been fouled by Gary Murphy. Eventually we get the whistle for a free in.
Yeah, again from a Galway point of view, there's still loads of time left. Again, I think Gary Murphy is climbing all over him in that case. Even though I think Matthew Clancy came in to get the break, it was a deserved free in. And again, if he scores this, there's still enough time for them to kind of pull it back.
Quarter of an hour since their last point. You know, this very important. It's out of the hands from the freeze. Flawless so far, 4 from 4. 6 points in total. And he's happy with that. 5 from 5. They've only scored 3 points in the second half. He's got them all from place balls.
Yeah, but again, it has brought them in one score of Cork at the moment. But again, as we said, middle of the park, their half-back line needs to push on a little bit, needs to start winning primary possession. At the moment, maybe fresh legs are needed also on the Galway team.
Matthew Clancy is off. Kieran Comer replacing him. So it's a 3-point game again. Cork leading by 3. Confirmation of the change. Clancy gone. Kieran Comer in. Just the chance to remind you About the RTE Bank of Ireland Man of the Match competition. Couple of tickets and overnight accommodation for the first semi-final on August the 28th. Text us or phone us. Numbers on your screen there. Sean Armstrong into Noel Meehan. Meehan one way, then the other, wide. Oh, there were 3 Galway players to his right.
Yeah, neither Michael Donlan nor I think it's the sub is after coming in. Noel Kieran Comer will be too happy with that. Again, Meehan had the opportunity that time to feed them with the ball, spurned it, and as a result the chance went to begging.
James Masters gone off the Cork team. Alan Cronin wearing 28 is in. As we head into the final 10 minutes, Anthony Lynch is struggling. Really put it all in to try and put Noel Meehan off in that last attempt, but every chance they get, whether it's Cork or Galway, you've got to take it at this late stage.
Yeah, that would have been an important score actually to convert, because again it would have brought them within 2 points, and they need scores to actually reinvigorate their confidence at the moment, which has fallen a little bit, naturally enough, with the Cork salvo we've had in the second half.
And his team reinvigorated in the second half. Not that they played poorly in the first half, they got punished by a couple of individual mistakes. Pádraig Joyce, again they look for Meehan. Meehan gets a touch to it. Michael Meehan for Galway, away from the goal by O'Connor. Meehan comes back, and Meehan gets his point. And for all the trouble they've had, look at the deficit now.
Oh yeah, great score by Meehan, and maybe this first touch just betrayed him a little bit in that case. Good tackling by Murphy it was, put him out, but again he had the confidence to get the ball onto his right foot and take a score. 2 points.
We're set up for quite a finish. 2-2. First score of the second half for him. First Galway point from play in the second half. Alan Cronin in wearing 28, as you can see. Declan Meehan. Anthony Lynch once more putting everything into the challenge. It's a Galway ball. Joe Bergen, Pádraig Joyce pulling the strings around midfield for Galway. That's Kieran Comer. Free in, foul by Noel O'Leary.
Yeah, simple enough tactics. Give the ball to the likes of the fresh legs, to Kieran Comer that time. Run at the defence, invite the foul, try and earn it, and again leave the rest to Pádraig Joyce.
And a ticking for Noel O'Leary for that.
Yeah, to be fair to Galway, they haven't panicked, they remain calm, and they're now starting to nibble away at that lead. Around the middle of the park again, we keep emphasising this. They have got the last couple of balls around there, and maybe it's beginning to turn the tide a little bit. But the advantage is still with Cork, though, Darren, must be said.
Well, this is a big moment in the match for Michael Donlan and for Galway. No. He'll be very disappointed with that, Michael.
Yeah, that has been 2 opportunities with Noel Meehan and with Michael there, with Michael Donlan, that, had the resulted with scores. Okay, we'll be level now, but again, they're the games, they're the kind of chances that either, make you or break you in a game of this importance.
Under 7 minutes of normal time left for play. A few to be added on for stoppages, and it's Cork by 2. Joe Bergen, Galway starting to win the breaks around there. Kieran Comer. Comer into Meehan. Comer again, he's got space, he's also got company. Comer blocked down brilliantly. Was it Owen Sexton who got hands on that? Michael Donlan picks it up for Galway. 2 points in arrears. Donlan's still going. Cork with their defensive structures in place. Bergen spilled it in the tackle. How big a moment will that be? Here come Cork. Kieran O'Connor from cornerback. Needs some help, has it, with Conor McCarthy. Was that thrown? Was there enough of a striking action there? Referee decided yes. Foul against Kevin McMahon.
Yeah, that was a decisive intercept actually by McMahon a moment ago when Michael Donlan rather put the ball into the middle. Had that ball gone to hand, I think Galway had a great opportunity of a score. But Cork's physical input of the first 25 minutes or so has brought about a certain tiredness. Going down the straight at the moment, Galway look a little bit fresher.
Well, they did have that extra break. Cork had a tough match against Sligo 8 days ago, and that's Kieran O'Connor who's in trouble. We saw Kevin McMahon get a yellow card. Sean Armstrong was the player he fouled. It's another opportunity for Galway. Joyce 5 from 5 from the frees. Michael Donnellan doesn't fancy this, and it's a tricky side for a left footer. But it's another chance, and this really needs to go over for Galway. Or will they try and work something closer in?
Well, again, great players make big decisions in critical situations. Porrick Joyce is taking on the responsibility. Again, a very important kick.
The captain of Galway, 3-time All-Star. And they've worked it in. Oh, it's too strong for Donnellan, but Michael Meehan, that is first to the break. Under pressure from McMahon. Picked the ball up.
Yeah, that was wasted again. Slightly overcooked with the pass from Joyce to Donnellan. Michael Meehan definitely threw himself on the ball to actually pick it up illegally, and this is a deserved free out for Cork.
It's a strange choice as an attacker. Once you get out and pick that up and somebody touches you, you're going to get a free. But a big moment. Porrick Joyce made the choice to seek out Donnellan but couldn't find him. Anthony Lynch at Cork. 2:13, 2:11. Derek Kavanagh. Philip Clifford has treated us to a fantastic point in the second half. Brendan Gerald Sullivan, a goal and a couple of points as well. John Hayes just taking the pace out of it, holding it up, waiting for the opening. John Hayes to put them 3 clear. That's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. The angle for a right-footed kicker, almost impossible. He's been brilliant, though.
That's an absolute beauty in that kid. Just watch him with Finian Hanley strike to kind of throw him aside and again launch a delightful strike through the posts. Again, it's been a feature of the afternoon, that trademark scores from distance from both sides. That's an absolute beauty.
First score in 9 minutes just shows you how much ball Galway have been winning around the middle, but it's Cork who come up with the score after that period of dominance, the score that puts them a goal ahead again. Derek Kavanagh. 28 is Alan Cronin. Played on the ground surely by McCarthy, was it? Well, the referee has let it go. Anthony Lynch. Porrick Joyce just tracking in front of it. Kevin McMahon. Conor McCarthy. Brendan Gerr. His dad wasn't a bad footballer either, has an All-Ireland medal with Billy Morgan from 73. Alan Cronin. O'Sullivan once more. Ooh, tricky one from McCarthy. Never going to get to it. Noel Meehan dropping back very deep, got hands on it. Here's Alan Burke up from cornerback. Teasing Noel O'Leary. Michael Donnellan. Will Donnellan and Joyce and others be able to steer them home this time? They're 3 points in arrears. Meehan slips as the referee. Gary Murphy delighted to get hands on that. And here's Nicholas Murphy. Hanging on to it well, Cork. McMahon has had a really fine game. So has John Hayes. Conor McCarthy of Cork. Now Cullinan tried to hold him up. Derek Kavanagh, all this passing and keep ball from Cork, working the clock down. Under 2 minutes to go. Brendan Gerald Sullivan. Conor McCarthy lets it away to Cronin, Alan Cronin. This is unbelievable stuff. It's like a challenge match. And Cork heavily beat Galway in 2 of those earlier this year. Derek Kavanagh, they wait for the opening. No score coming from it, though. Brian O'Donoghue, Galway needed up the other end of Croke Park, and sharpish. Porrick Joyce. Galway are preparing Clive Monaghan down in front of us. They've taken the free already. Declan Meehan. Paul Clancy. Is this to be the end of the road for Galway? They've already had a super year, but they want a place in the All-Ireland semi-final. Clancy, no way through, and they've lost it. As we head into the last minute of normal time, how many more chances will Galway get? Philip Clifford, brilliant. Alan Burke is struggling. Clifford, foul, free in. More time will be worked away.
Yeah, that suits Cork all the way. Again, it must be said that the Cork full forward line has caused endless problems for that goalless full back line in the second half. And again, Clifford's running straight at Fitzgerald that time, engineered the free. Again, should put Cork out of sight if they convert it.
Finian Hanley is off, the Galway fullback, and Clive Monaghan is replacing him. But Philip Clifford using his considerable experience there. The captain from '99, has a free.
Yeah, but you must give great credit to Cork. Their never say die attitude, their belief, their their refusal to yield at any time, and their composure in particular when things seem to be going against them. Great self-belief above anything else they have in their team, and that's a great credit to Billy Morgan, the way he has prepared the team.
Well, the Cork spirit wasn't there in 2004 when they lost to Fermanagh in round 3 of the qualifiers, but it's back now. This to put them 2 scores in front. Philip Clifford, no, I don't think he's got it. Oh, well, that opens the door for Galway, and so does this. There's 3 additional minutes, a goal between them. And we're now in the first of 3 to be added on. Anxious times for Peter Ford and for Billy Morgan, the Cork manager. But really, Clifford should have put that over to put them a goal and a point clear. Will there be a reprieve for Galway? Drew in the quarterfinals against Donegal not so long ago. I think that was a foul against Philip Clifford on Joe Bergen, and move forward as well for dissent.
Yeah, well, that's kind of cynical, that kind of fouling now, in all fairness about it.
Cork need to keep their discipline. Galway need to keep the ball, but they can't do it. Anthony Lynch has lost it as well. Sean Armstrong, a nothing ball. There was nobody in there.
No, but Kevin McMahon just got back at the point where he pulled the trigger and got the tackle in on him and put him off his pass.
Will it be Cork to head into the All-Ireland Senior Football semi-final? It looks like that at this stage. Alan Cronin. Derek Cavan, again they keep it. Brendan Gerald Sullivan blocked down by Bergen. Barry Cullinan. Galway need to move it forward quickly. Bergen can't hang on to it. His touch kept it to Michael Donlan. These guys know all about winning big games in Croke Park. They haven't won here in 4 years. Torrick Joyce. Noel Meehan inside him. Joyce looking to engineer an opening. They need a goal. Oh, that's played on the ground. It's a free out. And surely Cork have done enough.
Again, credit Joyce that time, trying to probe the opening now, but bring about the goal. But again, wonderful Cork defending, getting back in numbers. No more better than Anthony Lynch, again, to prevent what could have been a goal.
Kieran Comer's face said an awful lot. In terms of scoring chances, Cork have taken 16 out of 29. Galway 13 from 21 created. We're in the last minute to be added on. They've beaten Clare and Sligo this year, Cork. They lost to Kerry in the Munster final, but came out of that game with a lot of credit. Billy Morgan told them it wasn't good enough. Are they going to be good enough here?
I certainly think they have their home and hose at the moment, but it's been a fabulous second half display from them. And again, it has been a couple of experienced lads that they have brought back. I think Philip Clifford and Brendan Gerald Sullivan today have made a massive difference to them. They weren't available for the Munster final, came on late in that. And okay, the young lads that they replaced will have their days, at a later stage. But those 2 lads today, Brendan Gerald scores in particular, were critical in the second half.
First year as manager Peter Ford. It looks like it's going to end at the quarter-final stage with a Connacht title. John Hayes with the free. Well taken, Barry Cullinan. Do they have time? No, they don't. It's over. And Cork have booked their place in the All-Ireland semi-final. First-year managers have done well in 2005. But it's the man who's been involved in Cork football for 42 years. Loves working with this bunch of players, and look at the delight on Billy Morgan's face. They're through to the semi-final. Galway go out. They only scored 4 points in the second half. They were 4 points ahead at half-time. But Cork, well, the key moment, there were many of them, but Brendan Gerald Sullivan's goal 14 minutes into the second half was a massive moment for them. He had a super game. Disappointment for Galway, Martin.
Disappointment for Galway, but they know they have been participants in a fabulous game of football, but it has to be Cork's day, and we have got to acknowledge the contribution that both sets of players made, but in particular what Cork did in the second half. Billy must have really kind of got them, infused with belief at half-time, because they looked down and out. But again, we'll emphasise the advantage of the win in the second half, the display of their full forward line, and their ability to get ball around the middle of the field and have Anthony Lynch coming through from the half-back line. All of those ingredients, all of those variables contributed to a winning performance, and they fully deserved it.
Brendan Gerald Sullivan in a Galway shirt, but he was one of the stars in the Cork colours today. And those who got up very early this morning to make the journey for the half-one throw-in, delighted with the result. Cork are through. They've beaten Galway by 214 to 211. Let's go back to Michael Lester.
Dara Maloney and Martin Carney, thank you very much on commentary there. Of course, we have Mayo and Kerry coming up 3:30 to throw in for the second quarter final here at Galway. However, here at Croke Park, I should say. However, to reflect on that Galway-Cork match, we have Colin O'Rourke and Joe Brolly here in studio. What can you say? A fantastic second half performance by Cork. I mean, they're really 4 points down at half-time. They came storming out.
Yeah, well, I think that Cork showed that they're a serious team now. You know, last year they had a collapse here against Fermanagh, and what Billy Morgan has done is rebuild a team from scratch, brought in a lot of new players, and they're showing the sort of traditional Cork fighting spirit, which had been absent for quite a few years. We saw it in the Munster final. They've improved on that, and they really devoured Galway for the second half, winning the second half by 1-8 to 4 points.
Yeah, their second half performance, I mean, this is what you need from it. There's no good being 4 points up at half time if you can't finish it off.
Yeah, and we saw the seeds of it in the Munster final, you know, and I mean, it confirms that they're a very good team. I mean, they're well managed and inspired, and they've got all that sort of tigerish, passionate thing that comes from Billy Morgan. And then you've got leaders like Anthony Lynch and Graham Canty. Their midfield obliterated Galway in the second half, as they did to Kerry in the Munster final. And their half-back line's a terrific line. They dominated the Kerry half-forward line in the Munster final. In the second half, they just swept Galway away. And it was very important to have a good half-back line who are all good attackers because of the way Galway were playing deep. But in fact, Anthony Lynch was up kicking points. Owen Sexton kicked a point. They look a very serious team. They worked very hard. And in fact, surprisingly, Galway tired in the second half. By about 15 minutes into it, they looked spent.
Yeah.
And Cork's fitness has been... They've got all of the qualities, I think. They've got midfield, they've got an excellent half-back line to launch attacks, they've got hard-working forwards who can score, and they're very, very passionate and well-organised and well-managed. I mean, they're going to be a serious
I think basically
proposition.
what happened, though, in the end was the Cork full-forward line and the Cork forwards in general destroyed the young Galway backs. You know, the young Galway backs, the Burks and young Hanley, who'd done well in the Connacht final. They weren't able for Brendan Gerard O'Sullivan and Philip Clifford in the second half. They were totally overrun, really, in that sector of the
Yeah, but that was because of the midfield domination. I mean, they couldn't win the ball. I mean, it was 57 minutes before Galway won a breaking ball in the second half. I mean, Cork were either catching it or winning the breaks, and their two midfielders are terrific, and all around that, if you've got someone like Anthony Lynch, who's the heart of a warrior, you know, and who'll go and go and go and drive his team on, I mean, it's a terrific inspiration for the boys around him, and you can see that they're very, very focused. And, you know, I really was delighted to see, I mean, the game swung because of Meehan in the first half and the two goals that came from nowhere, which were really the goalie's errors. But, you know, over the 70 minutes, Cork were definitely the superior team.
And the man who managed them to all of that, of course, was Billy Morgan. He's talking to Martin Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Billy, you must be very, very happy. That was some second half performance.
Very proud, Mart. Very, very proud of those youngsters. I mean, half time, we hadn't played well. We had given away at least 2-3. Well, we were still within 4 points to them, but I mean, we had it all to do in the second half, and it's fair play to them. They just battled so hard once they went out of the dressing room for the second half, and they were just not coming off the field beaten.
What exactly did you say to them at half time?
We just talked about a few things, a few mistakes we were making, and, you know,
it worked.
Whatever.
It was a wonderful performance in terms of character. I mean, they worked from the backs up. They played a far more intelligent game in the second half.
Yeah, well, in fairness to Galway, they had their homework done on us, and they stifled us in the first half. You know, crowded their own half of the field, and it left big spaces in front of their full forward line, and were trying a very good ball in there for them. It was hard to counteract it, but then when we had possession and came forward, they had the numbers back, and it was very, very hard to break them down. But we readjusted in the second half. We went to a three-man full forward line with Brendan Gerard as a target man, and thankfully it worked for us.
Great goal though by Brendan Gerard, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, a very, very, very well worked move. When we ran at them, you know, we had them in trouble and worked the ball up the field, and that's what we did. Like it was a series of passes, you know, ending up with Brendan Gerard getting the ball, and thankfully he put it away.
Now, last question. Would you have a preference for Kerry in the All-Ireland semi-final?
Right now, Mart, I'm just happy that we're in the All-Ireland semi-final. Who we get at this point in time doesn't matter.
Well, you did a great job. Congratulations. Well done, Billy.
Thanks very much.
Delighted for you. Well done.
Yeah, I'm sure that is the case. The semi-final opponents is one for another day. They can savour this particular quarter-final victory here first at Croke Park, and they'll be hard beaten in the semi-final as well, Colin.
They certainly will, but I think it's a pity that, you know, the way the draw is rigged, that if it ends up that Kerry wins the next match of Cork and Kerry, and then if it turns out the other way, you'd have Armagh and Tyrone a repeat. I think it would have been much better, and I know there was fixture problems, but it would have been much better to have a bit of a novelty, maybe Cork playing some other team rather than Kerry, if Kerry come true.
Yeah, yeah. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, you know, you could have Cork and Tyrone and Kerry against Armagh or something like that. It would definitely bring a bit more flavour to it.
Yeah, mind you, having said all that, like a Cork-Kerry rematch at any stage in the championship would be one to savour as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that overall appeal, though.
I suppose the people who are looking in from Mayo won't be a bit happy with us counting them out at this stage. But you know, that's the way. The fixtures people said it's the only way that they can do it in order to ensure that everybody who's beaten in a provincial final gets at least a fortnight's rest, which is fair enough. But the answer to that is to start the championship a bit earlier, so that you know you don't have this problem when it comes to July and August in terms of rest period for teams.
Sure.
So it is a good idea having a rest period of at least 13 days, but you know it takes away from the whole novelty pairings if you end up with the same teams meeting again.
Yeah, well, speaking of rest periods, I suppose Galway can have no complaints about their rest period. They took a bit of a rest in the second half as well. Billy mentioned Brendan Gerr's goal in the second half there. I mean, this was the key score of the half.
With teams from all 4 provinces in action. In the quarter-finals, the Connacht champions Galway played Billy Morgan's rejuvenated Leesiders, while last year's All-Ireland finalists Kerry and Mayo came head-to-head in the other tie. Yes, we'll reveal the RTE Bank of Ireland Man of the Match awards from today's games, as well as the ladies' football quarter-final draw. Our comment line is opened. If you'd like to raise any issues, just text the word GAME, followed by your comment to 53555, or email us at thesundaygame@rte.ie. John O'Mahony and Tony Davis are with me in studio, and we'll discuss the weekend's action throughout the programme. But first, the action on the field. Galway and Cork played the first of the 2 quarter-finals in Croke Park this afternoon. Billy Morgan reintroduced the word rebel back into Cork football, and after playing well so far in the championship, they went into the game today as slight favourites over the young Connacht champions. Darren Maloney and Martin Carney are your commentators.
Let's check on the 2 teams for you. We'll start with Galway, and of course you know that Joe Bergen is back in their lineup after missing much of the Connacht campaign with a knee complaint. His return a major boost. The player to lose out, Kieran Comer, but the big news concerns Derek Savage. He was ruled out just a short time ago with a hamstring injury. Sean Armstrong fills in at left half forward, but he'll probably play in the corner. Paul Clancy's move to centre-back against Mayo was an absolute revelation as he marked Kieran MacDonald out of the match. Galway will expect another big game from him today as they bid for a place in the All-Ireland semi-final. Billy Morgan welcomes Philip Clifford back after a fine performance as a substitute against Sligo last weekend. Clifford replaces Fintan Gould, who is bound to feature at some stage this afternoon. That's the only change to the side, with captain Owen Sexton, John Hayes and Nicholas Murphy all included, despite picking up injuries 8 days ago. Noel O'Leary also suffered a knock last weekend, but he is fit. He put in an excellent display, kicking 3 great points, and is one of the stars of Cork 05 under Billy Morgan. Derek Kavanagh got a fist to that. Barry Cullinan. Big test for the 2 young men at midfield for Galway, Cullinan and Coleman. The break. Meehan goes after it. Can't get there.
That's a wrong call if the umpire signals is wide. It was a 45, definitely.
Signalled eventually as a 45. There's Billy Morgan. Nervy start from both teams. Meehan into Porrick Joyce. Gets away from Niall Geary. Joyce with the space. Joyce with the point. Once he got away from his man, it was never in any doubt. Philip Clifford, lots of movement from him. He was the captain in '99. It's Hanley beside him. Ran straight into Paul Clancy. Conor McCarthy. Well, they're having to work hard to keep this alive. James Masters. Brendan Gerald Sullivan spots the space, spots Anthony Lynch in that space. Owen Sexton completely free. Nicholas Murphy waiting inside. Sexton went for the point himself. Well, he's put it over, but Nicholas Murphy was totally unmarked just in front of the Galway goal. Gary Murphy, like Geary, latecomer to the Cork senior panel, 30 years of age. Here's Kevin McMahon. McMahon with runners left and right. Sexton to his right. inside to James Masters. Goal chance. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. Masters ankle tapped from behind on his way through, just like they did against Sligo. They've got a penalty, Cork.
Yeah, the incision that time was surgical, and again I think it was Alan Burke who probably came in, caught it, just ankle tapped him. Don't think it was deliberate or anything, but certainly found him just in the process as he was kicking the ball. Definite penalty. But again, the thrust from that time, I think it was Sexton coming through. The support play from Masters, top class.
And a change of penalty taker from Cork. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan took the penalty against Sligo. It was saved and subsequently buried by James Masters. A beautiful finish. Brian O'Donoghue in the Galway goal. It's John Hayes, the 19-year-old, who will take the penalty kick. Hayes against O'Donoghue. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. Perfect placement from Hayes. Cork lead.
Textbook penalty kick that time, just low, right to the corner. Very little that young O'Donoghue could do for it, even though he anticipated it very well. Top class strike.
Here's Joe Bergen of Galway. Owen Sexton with him. Bergen hasn't got the ball anymore. Cork have. Sean Armstrong. Torrig Joyce. Joyce fancies this. The confidence is up. That is just top draw from Torrig Joyce. Great response to the Cork penalty. One of the best points you will see in any game.
That is a delightful strike that time from Torrig Joyce.
Nicholas Murphy. It's very crowded in there. They both crowded out midfield in their provincial finals. Michael Meehan. That's Niall Geary who's marking him. Remember, Geary on a yellow card. Meehan, one way, then the other. Great feet from Meehan, but can he get away from the cover? Has to turn back again. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They say in Galway they're still waiting for him to do it on the senior stage, but that isn't bad at all, is it?
Well, certainly Niall Geary's legs that time will have been in knots after the twist, and he got that time from Michael Meehan again, who gets back onto his trusty left foot, has the confidence again to swing over an excellent point. Some of the point scoring there so far has been top drawer.
Taken by Kevin McMahon at the back of that cluster of players. Noel O'Leary. Kevin McMahon. Galway have only 3 attackers in the Cork half, so you can see how congested it is. Here's James Masters. Hard to find space, but he's got some space, and he's got some support from Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Brilliant. He needs to start well, Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Level for a 4th time in this match, and he has started well. That augurs well for Cork. Clancy, Michael Donnellan. Completely free is Barry Cullinan. Has Declan Meehan overlapping. Cullinan belts it in towards Meehan. O'Dwyer has dropped it. Meehan in there. Goal for Galway. What a disaster for Kevin O'Dwyer. He is vulnerable under the high ball, and he's been caught.
Well, I was just oohing and ahhing to myself there with the beauty of the foot passing there out of the Galway defence, but it took ultimately a mistake by Kevin O'Dwyer to present the occasion for Meehan, who had the presence of mind to exploit it and take an opportunist goal. But the foot passing from the left cornerback position across the field that resulted in that was worth watching again.
Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Nicholas Murphy. Gary Murphy up from cornerback. Brendan Ger has one already. Kevin McMahon. McMahon trying to break the challenge. James Masters. Masters sets himself. Brilliant. This match is just quality all the way through. Damien Burke. Well, they've held on to it. Declan Meehan. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Paul Clancy. Chance for him to attack it again. Meehan isolated with Murphy. O'Dwyer out of his line. Has to be a goal. Meehan, it's another goal for Galway. He got one-on-one with Murphy. He's loving this. So are Galway.
Well, that's as sweet a score as you could get. Again, Meehan's strength. Billy will need to make a change down there. Gets past Kevin O'Dwyer. But just watch it. Just keeps the nerve and slots it in. That's a great score for Galway.
2 goals in 3 minutes for Galway and for Michael Meehan. Nicholas Murphy just couldn't hang on to it. Looks good for Galway at the moment, but a long way to go. Niall Coleman. Again, look at that, switch it all the way across. Torrig Joyce looking for the space, finding the space and possession. Alan Burke has come up with him, the right cornerback. Joyce just teasing. Graham Canty, Sean Armstrong. Niall Geary with him. Some trickery from Armstrong. He's got support inside as well. Look at that. They were calling them the Terrible Twins Part 2 in Galway, which the comparisons were probably a little unfair. McMahon to Conor McCarthy. James Masters is the player ahead of him. McCarthy still in possession. Got away from Damien Burke. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Declan Meehan is marking him. O'Sullivan on the left boot. Shouts of great score. White flag goes up.
And that's what it is, a wonderful score off the left foot.
Graham Canty. Anthony Lynch shouting for it over here, but they'll go the other side. Conor McCarthy making a move ahead of Canty. Hasn't lost it, never will. Here's Anthony Lynch. Lynch up from centre-back. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan behind him. Clancy's challenge wasn't good. Jersey pulled on Lynch, he's got his point. Would have got the free anyway. Shirt was been pulled back. Very positive football from Lynch. Here come Cork, James Masters. Wind aiding him now, remember. Philip Clifford goes after it. Clifford manages to hang on. Alan Burke is the Galway right cornerback. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Hat-trick of points for the full forward. Not playing at full forward, but doing extremely well. And yeah, that's a good sign for Cork. His confidence up.
Fine score and a good start to the second half for Cork.
Just a goal between them. He'll be happier now, Billy Morgan. A lot of people congratulated them after their performance in the Munster final, and he told them it simply wasn't good enough. The scores from Freeze. Now here's Derek Kavanagh to Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. The goals are flowing in Croke Park. He's playing a blinder. What a goal.
What a goal. But again, the Galway defence will be asking questions of themselves. How come two players that time were able to drift into a threatening position without markers going with them? But the perception there of that pass coming through. Two good hand passes, but the quality of the finish rips it into the corner of the net. What a game we have here in front of us, Dara.
It hit the post, but nestled safely in the back of the net. They've had problems scoring goals in the past, but not today. Paul Clancy. Galway looking to respond straight away. His opposite number, Anthony Lynch, claiming the ball. He's having a big game in the second half for Cork, getting through a lot of work. Barry Cullinan, challenged heavily by Nicholas Murphy. Owen Sexton. John Hayes. Sexton back to Hayes. Again completely free inside is Kevin McMahon. He's lost his marker. McMahon raiding through. McMahon goes for the point and gets it. They're really moving now.
Yeah, great pass, great support running that time from McMahon. Joe Bergen had to track him back. Again, the defensive qualities that Galway were exercising so well and applying so well in the first half have deserted them for the last while.
Paul Clancy. Well, it's now Galway will be looking to the experienced heads, the likes of Donlan and Joyce and Clancy, to steady them again. Noel Meehan. Meehan, difficult angle. Wide. Wrong shot selection. About 14 minutes to go. Galway haven't scored in 12. Barry Cullinan taken off him by James Masters. Good, powerful fielding. It was McMahon indeed, and look at Anthony Lynch again, raiding forward. Lynch with options left and right, but still going, looking for his second point. Superb. Punches the air in delight, Anthony Lynch. His second point of this match. Anxious times for the Galway management. Joe Bergen, they just can't get the ball, Galway. Conor McCarthy worrying for Galway, starting to see more of it. Here's Philip Clifford. Clifford, someone managing to hang on to it. That looks brilliant. It is brilliant from Philip Clifford. He's back on the team. He's proving a point. And Cork are really moving at the moment. 4 down at half-time. They're 4 up now.
Oh, such a turnaround, and again the strength of Clifford that time, despite the pressure from Alan Burke, strikes a wonderful score, and that has been a feature of the afternoon, the high quality of point scoring from play by both sides.
Poor Joyce, again they look for Meehan. Meehan gets a touch to it, Michael Meehan for Galway, away from the goal by O'Connor. Meehan comes back, and Meehan gets his point. And for all the trouble they've had, look at the deficit now.
Oh yeah, great score by Meehan. And maybe this first touch just betrayed him a little bit in that case. Good tackling by Murphy at once, put him out, but again he has the confidence to get the ball onto his right foot and take a score. 2 points.
2-13, 2-11. Derek Kavanagh. Philip Clifford has treated us to a fantastic point in the second half. Brendan Gerald Sullivan, a goal and a couple of points as well. John Hayes just taking the pace out of it, holding it up, waiting for the opening. John Hayes to put them 3 clear. That's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. The angle for a right-footed kicker, almost impossible. He's been brilliant though.
That's an absolute beauty in that case. Just watch him with Finian Hanley, strike to kind of throw him aside, and again launch a delightful strike through the posts. Again, it's been a feature of the afternoon, that trademark scores from distance from both sides. That's an absolute beauty.
First score in 9 minutes just shows you how much ball Galway have been winning around the middle, but it's Cork who come up with the score. And do they have time? No, they don't. It's over. And Cork have booked their place in the All-Ireland semi-final. First-year managers have done well in 2005, but it's the man who's been involved in Cork football for 42 years. Loves working with this bunch of players, and look at the delight on Billy Morgan's face. They're through to the semi-final. Galway go out. They only scored 4 points in the second half. They were 4 points ahead at half-time. Cork are through. They've beaten Galway by 2-14 to 2-11.
Brendan Ger, what was it like at half-time? Because your first half performance was obviously quite poor. What exactly did Billy say?
Yeah, well, geez, I don't know how poor we were. I suppose they got the 2 goals, and that was the difference. And these things happen, like, in games, and what are you going to do, like? So we just said, just keep plugging away, keep doing what we're doing, not change the game plan, and things will turn around for us. And they had a bit of win in the first half as well, so things did turn around for us, so delighted in the end.
You know, we set our sights on winning today, and you know, and that's all I can think about at the moment, you know. And you know, I'm just disappointed for everybody else, you know. That's where my sympathies are at the moment. The lads are gutted in there, and you know, they gave me everything all year, under 21s and seniors, and I'm very grateful for that. And hopefully we learn from it, and maybe next year we'll go a bit further.
John, I'm beginning to worry a little bit about Brawley's state of mind, because a couple of things happened today which was really worried me. First of all, he praised 2 Southern teams, and secondly, he described the game in 2 words. Now that's a record for Brawley. His 2 words were class match.
I'd agree with them, Pat. It was a great game of football. We had 4-25, I think was the total score. We had Galway getting 2-7 from play, Cork getting 1-10 from play. So, you know, it was, as the man says, pure football. And a lot of the qualities, you know, of leadership and great scores, a lot of potential man of the match candidates and all of that. So it had everything, really. And it's a pity that there was maybe only 31,000 to see it.
Tony, what's different about Cork this year? Because a lot of those boys were there last year, and they're the last couple of years underperforming. This year they're different. What is different?
I suppose Billy Morgan came in last year, and he more or less inherited the team. So after what happened against Fermanagh, he had to go in, just rejig the whole thing, and they're together now training since last September. So really, from a low base last year against Fermanagh, to come up today and produce a performance like they did was amazing. An awful lot of very good young forwards. We saw there wasn't too many of them. The Galway team scored, but on an individual basis, an awful lot of the Cork team scored. They have good backs, good midfields, and some of the scoring from play today was just outstanding.
John, you've looked at, first of all, the reason why Galway dominated that first half.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Ford set out a stall. He pulled back the half-forward line and back into the half-backs and isolated Michael Meehan up front, and it worked. I mean, Barry Cullinane had a great first half and laid on a lot of possessions. The ball was going in, and really that was a no-hoper ball in many respects, and I suppose that was the mistake by Kevin O'Dwyer there. But, you know, Meehan with the goal poacher's instinct put it away, and here we have the second one from the same platform in the half-back line. Paul Clancy, I think, was involved in the ball in again. And this was a wonderful goal, really, because you had Michael Meehan had to, you know, go past the goalie and then take it on his right. So it was a great score.
But is bringing back the half-forward line, is it counterproductive, John? Because Galway's half-forward line scored 2 points, Cork's half-back line scored 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that, but like we hear about this blanket defence, but I think Galway did it today in a way that didn't inhibit the game to a certain extent. Maybe you could say it didn't work, but I'd say the problem for the Galway was the second half, rather than, you know, when it was working well and they were winning possession in the middle field, they were dominating.
Tony, it is the second week in a row, and it is definitely a record. Cork's forward play, we're highlighting it again. They got some excellent scores in that second half. You've had a look at some of them.
Yeah, some fantastic scores. And Brendan Jur, Kevin, look here, we have a good ball in here. Kevin McMahon, who had an outstanding game all day, left it into Conor McCarthy. Now, it was a terrific first-time pass by Derek, and this is an absolute screamer. I don't know if Brendan Jur will ever again get a goal like that, but that's some goal to get in Croke Park. Here we have Kevin McMahon again, who had an absolutely super game around midfield. That's the Kevin McMahon that I've seen playing with Ross Carberry down the years. He's doing the same. His clubmate from Ross Carberry again. Here you see 90 years old, pushes Finian off like that, good strength, and having the confidence to shoot like that and to take the scores. Now, for a terrific
5-24 on 2 matches, that's a great tally.
It's a good tally, and we were talking about Cork not scoring goals. They created chances there all day. Now, good base as well from the back line, Graham Cantony, Anthony Lynch, but midfield, Cork have a very good midfield, and that's where all the platform comes from. And
yeah, I suppose Galway's dominance in the first half was Barry Callan, but Nicholas Murphy came into the game in the second half. And
to don't win midfield, you can have the best forwards in the world.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Okay, time now to announce the RTE Bank of Ireland Man of the Match. And after his sparkling performance, the award goes to Anthony Lynch. John?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony showed a lot of character today. He got great leadership, and particularly coming up to half-time when Cork needed a score to close down the scores, because they hadn't a great first half. But himself and Graham Canty combined to score that one, and he also got in some great tackles, and again was on the scoring sheet in the second half. And overall, you know, gave a real. He's one of the veteran players, but he's a good player.
He's turning out to be a big leader as well. Other contenders as well, like Brendan Jur, Kevin McMahon.
Yeah, Michael Meehan on the Galway side. Yeah, a whole lot of people, but Anthony Lynch gets the nod.
Yeah. Okay, and here's what Anthony said to Marty Morrissey after the game.
Well, Anthony Lynch, congratulations on winning the match, and I'm delighted also to announce that you're the RTE Bank of Ireland Man of the Match winner, and Dermot White from the Bank of Ireland in Middleton will now present you with this beautiful piece of glass. So well done.
Thanks very much, Marcus. Thanks, well done, Thanks.
Anthony, that was some comeback, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It's funny how things go. We consider ourselves a fit enough team, and we came in at half-time not having played well, and we found ourselves only 4 points down. So, I mean, there was another 35 minutes, and we have a good belief in our fitness as well. So it came through in the end, although it was a hot day out there.
It showed a bit of character, Anthony, because you did concede 2 rather soft goals, unusual sort of goals for Cork to concede.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of space in there. Maybe we were guilty on that because the ball coming in from midfield at times, and outside we left them, you know, too much time in the ball, and I think that contributed to it, like, you know, so with all the space in there then, so I think that was a contributory factor, but, you know, these things happen, and we spoke about it at half-time, and again, didn't feel we panicked or anything, and that's important for us, you know.
Earlier today on the Sunday Game Live, you had the opportunity to enter into our Man of the Match competition. If your entry matched the choice of the panel, then you were in with a chance to win. And the lucky winner is Gertrude Hurley from Kinsale in County Cork. Congratulations to you, Gertrude. You've won 2 tickets to the All-Ireland Football semi-finals and overnight accommodation in Dublin on the 28th of August. Time for a break. Still to come, we've highlights from Kerry versus Mayo. Yesterday's 2 qualifiers.
From a Mayo point of view, first of all, they did win back